So you can go through and you can send this. This is the message this is going to be. And then if you go back here, you'll be able to see all the different scenarios that you've run while you've had this client. I can see like I sent her one on 514 and all the different scenarios that I've created and sent to her. You can also run a purchase analysis. It's very similar to the refinance analysis. You'll be able to customize the disclosure in here as well for the refinance or the purchase one. So if you want a very customized disclosure, you can do that, or you can just leave the default one that we have. The next step that we're going to talk about is scheduled email reports. You're going to pop over to mortgages and you're going to see the hourglass here. So this is our select to search. So let's say I want to look at all the leads that I've had over the last 30 days. So I can scroll down here to that section. I could go with specific dates, but in this case, I just want to go with the last 30 days. Click search. It's going to pull up all the lead reports. So I'm going to call this report leads, and I want to save this as a scheduled email report. You're going to pick who you want it to go out to. So I want it to go out to myself. The occurrence, I'd like that to go out daily at 10 a.m. and I want it to start on this date. I click apply. Now I can always go over here and see my scheduled reports. These are all the different reports we've got in the system running. It'll automatically email you updates, stuff like that. Next one we've got is email constructor. We're going to go to marketing in this step, and we're going to jump over to a campaign here, and we're going to go in and add a step. So within add a step, we're going to select email, and in here, you'll see this use email constructor. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to decide like what we want. So I just want to do text. And with MAIA, I'm able to do text and pictures. So I can go in here and say, I want to insert something here, and I want to use MAIA right here. And let's start with an image. So I can tell MAIA, search for an image of a home. And then it'll come up with like an image like this. And then I could insert this one right into the system. And it'll ask you if you want to crop it, what you want to do with it. So I can add that in there and I could click apply. And now maybe in this other part, I want to edit some text and I want to use MAIA again. And I can go in here and I say, you know what, I want to write some text. I like to be very specific with MAIA and tell her like, look, 7 sentences or 5 sentences because she may run on. So I can apply that in there. And then I can go in here and I can save as a new template. I can name it. Do I want it to be available to everybody or do I want it to be available just to myself? And then do I want it in specific groups if you have them? And now I've saved that. Next thing we're going to talk about is going to be web forms that we have in the system. We're going to go to options. You can see it right here at the top, but if for some reason it's not at the top, you'll be able to see it over here in web forms. And I can always create a new web form right here. These are all the web forms that you already have in your system. If I want to add a new form, I decide, do I want to add it to the mortgage databases? Do I want to add it to the partners? Do I want to add to the recruiting database? So let's say I want to add it to the mortgage database. I'm going to say the form name is DSCR. I'm going to keep it public so everybody can see it. I want them to go into leads. I also want them to go into an active lead group. So this is going to go into the pipeline view of the database. This is going into the group view. The next you can do is decide the buttons that you want on the page. Do you want it to show thank you, or you want it to go to a specific website after they're done? And then we're going to go into how do we build the form. First thing I want is the borrower's first name. I want to add that. And the next thing I'd like is the borrower's last name. I want to add that. I want to add cell phone, email, click add. So I can pop in here and say, look, you can't fill out the form without these being required. I can click which template I want. I want this one right here, and then go in here. Here's our form that we just built. If I click these right over here, I can go in and I can view the code. So this is what the form's going to look like for them clicking through. I can do just the HTML code. I can copy that code, and then I can go to my website and I can put that code in the background of the website, and it's going to push that form right into the system. The next thing that we're going to jump into is database organization. Let's just go to mortgages. So in mortgages, there's 3 ways to look at the database. You've got the group view, you've got the pipeline view, and you've got the custom view. So for this instance, we're going to talk about the custom view. And in the custom view, I want to go in and see my settings here. And I want to look at the different types of loans that I have going. So I can click apply. So let's look at my conventional. I want to select the whole group here, and I want to start a campaign for that group. You can do that right in here. And maybe I want to do a refinance campaign. So I could grab that campaign, click start. Now that would start that campaign for the whole group. And maybe I want it to go out at noon. Other things that you'll be able to do is you can manage your groups. So if I go in any borrower, I can manage the groups in here for my system. So if I go into contact info, these are all my groups. I can click in here and manage. And let's say I want to add a DSCR. Now that's going to update my groups. And I want that group to show up in clients only. So now when I go back to mortgages and I go to my group view, here's that DSCR group we put in. And then you can put people into the DSCR group as you go. There's one more thing that I'm going to talk about today, and that's the MAIA sidebar. So in the MAIA sidebar, you'll be able to go in here and ask specific questions. So I told it to show me all my new leads for this week. So it quickly went and found 43 leads. And I can go through and click if I want to see the specific lead itself and click more info. And it's going to take me in my system to that borrower itself. It's just another way that you can go in and see what's going on in the system.